There's a little known secret, and it's called entrepreneurial math. And the key is, once you understand it, it's a driving force in your business. In fact, many advisors who are affiliated with USA Financial will tell you that the core, the engine, the drivetrain, everything that matters in their practice to get growth starts with entrepreneurial math.
This is The Rare Advisor, proud to be a part of the Advisor Advancement Network and home of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. Your host is Mike Walters, CEO of USA Financial. He is an investment advisor representative of, and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, welcome back to Rare, where we discuss repeatable and recurring events and why that is so important in the development and the ongoing growth of your practice. And today I just want to zero in on a quick concept, but it is ultra powerful. It's called entrepreneurial math. And so for those of you who have ever experienced our Chain of Secrets program, or more specifically, our Chain of Secrets Fast Track event, I'm dialing into the lower right-hand corner of all of the data and the information that we talk about in terms of this chain of secrets that develops and really is the backbone of your financial practice. And as it relates to entrepreneurial math, the way to think about this concept is it's basically the marathon rather than the sprint. Or maybe a better way to say it is, we're going to string together some sprints so that the marathon performs in a way that would be unexpected. So classic example, if you were to lay down in front of your staff and say, hey, we want to have a 60% increase in our practice this year, most likely you're going to have a rebellion on your hands. You're going to have a mutiny in the sense that people don't believe that a 60% growth factor is a viable number. They don't believe that that's doable. So if you're pinning any kind of goals to it, especially if there's incentive comp or anything else, you're probably going to lose them mentally and emotionally speaking. And you can cut these numbers in half. I'm just using this because it's easy, because what I want to point out to you is that in order to get to 60% growth, if you have 5 items that you can measure inside of your practice, anything that you can measure that is somehow a component of the assembly line that is your business, if you can find 5 of those things that you can increase by 10% each, you will have your 60% growth. This goes back to long ago. I was in a business meeting and became friends with a gentleman who was running a pitching would you call it, like a pitching, coaching, and mentoring program or business for potential D1 pitchers, for potential minor league pitchers, and they actually had a number of major league pitchers who had come through their programs. And one of the things he said to me that has always stuck with me is he said, I can increase any pitcher by 20% speed on the ball, on the pitch. All I need to do is have a radar gun. He says, because most of these kids, when they're coming from high school to college level, they haven't spent much, if any, time on a radar gun. And he says, all I need to do is put a gun on them, and the little nuances are going to figure their way out, and we're going to get a 20% increase in their pitch speed just simply by starting to measure it. And since then, I've realized that that's kind of a thing. If something's never been measured before and you start to measure it, it's going to go up by approximately 20% just because of the fact that you started to measure it. That's a whole nother discussion. Let's cut that in half. Let's just call it 10%. So let's say that if you are looking, and maybe you used to run a lot of events and now you're not running any client seminars or any kind of public events coming through COVID. But now things are changing. We're going kind of back to normal. We don't want to let go of Zoom, but we might want to institute or reinstitute some face-to-face interactions. And let's say I'm going to do 5% more. Or excuse me, I said 10, didn't I? Let's stick with 10. If I'm going to institute 10% more events this year than I did last year, and then I'm going to work on systems to, in addition, get me 10% more leads than I got last year, which will then be able to target 10% more first appointments than last year, then 10% more closing appointments than last year, And we're going to focus on 10% larger clientele during that process. Now again, that you may or may not like that list I just came up with, but let's assume we do. 10% in those 5 categories will give us 61% growth when we play out that math. So the key is, the more things you can measure in your business, the faster you can grow, because you want to measure them in the sequence, in the sequential event that they take place. If you can get these little bumps along the way, you don't have to just hold it out like it's one big enchilada where all we have to do is break through and hit this monster number. No, if we just get a little more here, a little more there, a little more here, and a little more here, and a little more here, it all strings together. And before you know it, we've had huge growth.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.